Imagine opening your phone right now. You are one swipe away from a potential date, one tap away from endless explicit content, and living in an era where hookup culture is practically a spectator sport on the internet. You would naturally think this generation, Gen Z, would be having more sex than anyone in human history. But the psychological reality is completely the opposite. Sociologists and researchers keep dropping the same fascinating bombshell. Young adults today are actually having significantly less sex than their parents or even their grandparents did at the exact same age. So, what is going on in your brain and in our culture that is causing this massive shift? Let me show you why this isn't a story about a generation turning prudish, but rather a profound psychological evolution in how we experience human intimacy. Think about how much energy it takes just to be a person right now. Your brain is processing a relentless stream of notifications, global anxieties, and carefully curated social media personas every waking second. By the time you actually log off, if you ever truly do, your cognitive load is entirely maxed out. Psychologically speaking, physical intimacy requires a state of presence, relaxation, and vulnerability. Those states are incredibly difficult to achieve when your nervous system is stuck in a constant low-grade state of fight or flight. What is happening is that we have accidentally substituted physical touch with digital connection. A deep late-night conversation over text, or sending highly specific, relatable memes back and forth, actually triggers the exact same dopamine and oxytocin loops in your brain that physical closeness used to monopolize. You aren't necessarily losing your biological drive. You are simply getting your intimacy needs met through a glowing rectangle. It feels a lot safer, and frankly, it demands a whole lot less emotional risk. Then there is the sheer exhaustion of the modern dating market. Dating apps promise to make finding a partner effortless, but psychologically, they have triggered a massive wave of what we call the paradox of choice. When you have thousands of potential partners sitting in your pocket, the human brain becomes entirely overwhelmed. The repetitive act of swiping starts to feel less like romance and more like a high-stakes job interview or a brutal gamification of human worth. It becomes deeply transactional, and when sex becomes heavily intertwined with this transactional resume swiping culture, it naturally loses its emotional appeal. Why risk the awkwardness, the potential rejection, or the lingering emptiness of a random hookup when you can stay in your safe, comfortable bed, put on your favorite show, and protect your hard-earned peace? But there is something much deeper happening beneath the surface here, and it is actually incredibly beautiful. This generation is prioritizing mental health, self-awareness, and personal boundaries in a way society has never seen before. Psychologists are noticing a trend where young people view sex not as a casual milestone or a necessary teenage rebellion, but as an act that requires a solid foundation of emotional safety. You have grown up in a world that is hyper-aware of trauma, consent, and toxic relationship dynamics. Because of this profound awareness, you are not just jumping into bed to prove something to your peers anymore. You are asking for emotional intelligence first. You are fundamentally redefining intimacy to mean being truly seen, respected, and understood, rather than just physically touched. This drop in the statistics isn't a sign of brokenness, isolation, or a lost generation. It is a collective, unspoken boundary being fiercely drawn. So if you have ever felt weird, broken, or out of place because you are just not that interested in the frantic, hypersexualized culture around you, I want you to reframe that thought right now. Your brain is doing exactly what it is supposed to do in an overstimulating, exhausting world. It is fiercely protecting your energy and demanding better, safer conditions for your vulnerability. You are choosing quality over quantity and emotional safety over societal pressure. That is a massive psychological strength, not a weakness. I would absolutely love to know how you feel about this. Have you noticed this shift in yourself, your dating life, or your friends? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if this helped you understand your own mind a little better today, hit subscribe so we can keep exploring the fascinating psychology of our everyday lives together.